Welcome to my channel. My name is Valerio, but please call me Val. And today we're gonna review the Megazord from Flame Toys, belonging to the line Go Kuro Karakuri Combine. And this one is the first robot that they do within this line. So apparently it is a one robot line. Anyway, this is an official product licensed by Hasbro, product by Flame Toys. And for the few of you that don't know this company, this is a company specialized in high-end diecast figures. And most of the time, up to now, they've been doing mainly Transformer that don't transform, and one Batman and one dude from G.I. Joe, as far as I can remember. So the kind of interest is toward figure characters popular within North America. And happily enough, they were able to get the license to do this reinterpretation of the original Megazord. But before we dive into the review out of it, please make me do 1 second, a couple of minutes of presentation of my channel. My channel is a channel that up to now has been going on in Italian, and from now on it will start to have every video within it in Italian and in English. So please don't butcher me for my English. And obviously, if you have any question on something that is not clear because of how I speak, please let me know below it. This is the first thing. And second thing, on this channel we mainly look at diecast robots and model kits and a tiny bit of tutorials, so you will start to see quite of everything inside of it. And third thing, quite important, this is not a sponsored channel, so nobody pays me to give the opinion about this robot. I don't make any money whatsoever from YouTube. I just do it for the pleasure of sharing my passion and my hobby with other people. Even though my hobby is super nerdy, which is collecting giant robots in a tiny scale, and do model making, which is less nerdy. Actually as nerdy, but let's say less frowned upon. Anyway, so this is just for the introduction. I'm situated in Calgary, Canada. So for the few of you that are interested into that bit. And that's all about me. Now let's start with this robot. So as a first thing, I bought it directly from the website, and I want to say that the price was around 350 USD, but might have been a bit higher, might have been a bit lower. I know that I bought it with a tiny bit of discount because of the pre-order. However, the shipping price was, oh, holy cow, that was intense. But I had pretty high expectation. I've been buying fundamentally every single release from this company, and I loved 99% out of them. Few exceptions that I didn't like, but we will not go into it. And I was quite curious about this model. Why? Well, because Flame Toys is partnered with another company called Sentinel, which is partnered with another company called 1000 Toys, and neither of these companies particularly famous to do really good combining robot. Actually, Sentinel, which I don't know what the kind of relationship it has with Flame Toys, other than sharing customer service, since once I called to one and the other guys did reply, do all of their worst figure, and they do a ton of amazing one, but most of their figure with problem are within Sentinel under the line Metamorphose. So high expectation, because Flame Toys up to now did a lot of my favorite model, and a lot of fear because I own quite a bit of model also from Sentinel within the Metamorphose line, and they freaking sucks. Most of the time, not often. Not often, not every time, let's put it like this. More often than not, yes. So, mixed feeling about this robot, if not that I completely love the redesign out of it and the interpretation that the artist gave it. So now, how my review works is that we look accessories, then we do combination, then we do color, and then we do a bit of comparison and conclusion. So sorry if this one is long, but this is going to be quite a long one because this is a combining one. Now with accessories discussion. So accessories, first mega disappointment out of the box, and everything you can find here is the accessories. So you find a really nice manual in color that unfortunately is not precise. So as has been noticed by many Chinese YouTuber, instructions are not complete, and if you follow those one, especially when moving the arm above the shoulder, is going to break a piece. So I will go through it within the review and the combination, but the manual is not great because you miss a part that can break. You miss an explanation of something that can break. This can be either a gun or can be the cannon to attach to the pterodactyl. They're nice. There is not metal inside of it, but there are two different level. Actually, there are three paints, if I'm not wrong, three metallic paints, and depending on which angle you take, it change color. It is amazing, actually. Can't complain about it. There are two of them because traditional pterodactyl, there are two cannon out of it. And after we are done with this really exciting bit, let's start to see about what are the main protagonists out of it. We see the 5 Zord, and we miss a display stand to attach the pterodactyl that you can only carry, as I'm doing, into the background. Anyway, the appearance of the dinosaur is extremely striking. The color, a mix of lucid and semi-lucid, or glossy and semi-glossy paint, gives another level of depth to the figure. They're not really heavy per se, but this is a combiner, so we don't want too much weight in all the parts, otherwise it will have some problem into moving inside of it. It's not big, but I will show you after dimension once we combine them. And now we're gonna start to look each one of the dinosaur one by one. Sorry, each of the dinosaur. Okay, now let's start with the T-Rex. It's pretty big. The tail is quite nice, and it has the tiny bit of mobility that the original toy one didn't have. Obviously, this ends up being the legs and the main body of Megazord once it's combined, but we can see a lot of the tail, a lot of shade of red, and yes, this is a magnet print, but nothing too strong inside of it. What we can see is really the kind of maniacal attention toward the tail. Everything is perfect. Paint is extremely precise. It's not particularly heavy, it's not particularly light. It's still okay because this has to connect to the legs of Megazord, and if this one alone was a couple of pounds, the legs wouldn't be able to keep him up, and then somebody would be afraid inside of it. This is the tail that this is a tiny bit of a gimmick. The tail can become longer, and then joints are unlocked in this way so that you can keep it. However, you cannot remove the tail. Okay, now let's continue to look inside of it. So it has some, as you can see, the arm have a tiny bit of joint, a tiny bit of movement. You can move what are the nails or the tiny ends of the dinosaur, and that can always help. I'm quite surprised for the people that will want to keep it this one in the dinosaur, but it's still pretty cool. Now you can open the mouth, obviously, and there is the flamethrower was inside the mouth. Here we have ratchet joints for what are the leg, but we're gonna look at articulation after. Yes, you can move the nail of the single of the legs, and for the one that have familiar the traditional toy or the legacy one of Megazord, they know that there is the transformation of this robot is a tiny bit different than that one. It is a bit more complex. Here we are with, this was the reprint of the Hasbro from a few years ago with the stickers done by BD something. Anyway, they're pretty cool, and I did a bit of custom color. This was for my younger kid when he did turn 2, and you can see a bit of difference out of it. But obviously the price, the price of that one, it's several times lower than this one. So there is a nub crunch for a T-Rex. I think is really important, and I think right now that I didn't extract the full mouth of the T-Rex. I'm a bit afraid I might have forget to do this bit within the review. Now we continue with what is the Triceratops, Blue Ranger, and you can see that finally he has legs. And I found it super cute, honestly. Clearly it does remind of the original one, still with better stickers over it. And you can open the mouth. However, like a lot of things, and I'm sorry for the blurred image, like many things inside this model, you need a splodger or something to open parts out of it. Otherwise, there are quite a bit of tabs. They're not easy to extract. Detail is crazy over this robot, but there are few of super tight parts which are really hard to get into it. You can see it has a hole on the back. Guess why? Well, because it becomes a boot and a leg at the end of the day. But the fact that he has arms, he can move the head, he has a bit of expressivity, I think is already quite an improvement toward the original toy and the Soul of Chogokin one. For the one they collect, obviously that one is more an homage to the toy, and this one is an homage to the idea of Megazord. Now you can see this one was a brick, as my kid noticed. A real brick, a cute one, but still a brick. Now, before my voice disappears completely, we're gonna look at Sabertooth Tiger, and this is amazing actually. Different shade of yellow. There are two shades of yellows. There is golden, there is bronze, there is all kind of crazy color that we're gonna look at it after. The mouth can be open, still as well, super tight, and it looks like the paint is resistant, but I'm a bit afraid of pushing it too strong. So there is a bit of articulation within the arms, obviously, and there is a bit of articulation within what is the equivalent of shoulder blades for a Cyber Tiger Tooth. Please let me know in the comment. Anyway, they can move a bit, and this is the extraction of the shoulders for when it goes into Megazord. Anyway, super cute, super expressive. I think this one, okay, the original one doesn't really stand that much. This was a repaint, as I said before. Yeah, it doesn't stand still. Here I try again. I try. Ta-dan, 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 ta-dan. It's dunk. Anyway, it is cute as well, and for its time was amazing. I'm happy somebody decided to take a stab at the design. Here we have the mammoth that is gonna become at the end of the day the arms, and this is where the transformation actually changed quite a bit from Megazord. And by the way, I will not show you the singular transformation of each one of the Zord. I can do it if somebody asks me. I can do another video about it, but I will do the final combination out of it. Why is that? I try to shot it, and unfortunately there are a lot of tiny tabs that I wasn't able to take on camera because I had to force it on my shoulder, on my knees when I was bent, and with a toothpick into it to open it. Not a lot of fun, to be honest. The original one, you can build it in 2 seconds, actually in 20 seconds. I think this is the time it took me. With this one, not so much. So you can see a comparison between the head, and I want to say that the original head wasn't bad at all. I still like it. This one is nice, but it's the one where there is less of like a night and day kind of difference. But this new one has some weight. Like, it is a bit heavier than the original. Obviously, there is more material, there is a bit of die cast and whatnot. Now we're gonna finish our Zord with the pterodactyl, and yeah, quite a lot of difference. However, two things are the same. You cannot expose this one without a display stand, and there is not a display stand within this set, which I found extremely annoying, because I'm sure there are some people that would like to expose them as dinosaur. I maybe have 2 copies, one is dinosaur, the other one is Megazord. Now, there is a hole within the sword. I'm 100% sure there's gonna be a display stand within the Dragon Zord. However, I mean, how much could have been? $5 inside of like a 350, $400 product? I think Flame Toys could have done a better job onto it. However, yes, the pterodactyl is amazing, the color on the wings is something incredible, and there is some pink, which is cool. Now let's start with the transformation. As I say, I will not show individual one, but how they combine together, yes. Now, I prepared the parts, and it's not a lot of fun. There are a lot of tiny tabs. Now, the feet enter inside, let's call it the boot, the Sabertooth, from down up with a, let's say, a 45 degrees angle. Guys, this is not really precise. It's not hard at all, but you need to put up the right angle. Good news is that the paint is really solid, so even if you screw it up, you should be okay. And then there is a tab that you enter inside, and this is the problem I was telling you before. I cannot show you exactly where it goes unless I do another video where it's a 50 minutes of me screaming against everything that I find sacred to find the right tab. There it is. Now, ta-da, you put into the right angle, and then it enters immediately. Sorry, these are all the ratchet joints and clean. I'm not, okay, there it is. Once you get it in, it's super easy. Before you get it in, it's super hard, which is a lot of things in life. Anyway, we put it up to down. So it's not, you don't put it horizontal, you go from down up with a kind of an angle, and you try to angle it in the easiest way that is possible for you. And obviously then you attach, and it's already balanced. As I say, the tail cannot be removed. Now the arms, particularly easy. You just have to insert these 2 pegs on the back, and they're pretty hard, so you need, so a few things give you the impression of real solidity within this robot, within this Zord. One of these are the arms, because it has several points of contact and several points of connection. However, the paint is resistant around those points, so don't worry about screwing it up. Obviously, don't go ham fist. but you know, you can just push it, put a bit of strength. You see, here I am, I'm screaming. And please remember, when I do attach this stuff, my arms are not really close to my body. They are looking me very, very from far away because there are the lights in the middle. Anyway, we're pushing it. And now there is another point of contact that is the point of attachment that are the tiny kind of clamps. Yeah, let's call it clamps because I don't know the proper name. Yep, you see? They move around the two tiny dinosaur hand over it and then they connect. Now, if you see, it's not immediate. This is just the first time that you need to learn. These parts are particularly easy. Ta-da! After 1 second, I attach. Now, this is the part from the pterodactyl. We attach it on the back. And this is solid as well. And the only part that kind of gave me a problem about how strength of attachment, it is the wings. So the wings, they don't click, so they're not really locked into it, and it's kind of a problem because I don't know if I did something wrong, which is possible, something wrong with my copy. They normally stay without much problem, like they stay inside the peggle. However, something a bit stronger would have been welcome. However, still, first combining robot that they did, it's not like I could expect perfection out of it. Price is high, however, everybody does it first. I hope that for the next one, which I suppose is going to be the Megazord, they will solve this kind of tiny issue. But the wings do stay. It's just when you start to touch the robot around to so-called it play or pose it, well, yes, they have the tendency to fall. And I have to say, I'm really happy that the wings are pink, so that we remember also that there was the Pink Ranger, and not just a red chest with a smile inside of it, Ranger, which was cool, but still, I mean, for the fun of Pink Ranger, among the few, my wife, well, yeah. Now we finish, we can finally see the robot, and as you can see, it is freaking impressive. It is amazing. This is how I remember Megazord, which is not always a Megazord, but if you watch something when you're little and then you remember it and then you didn't see for 20 years in your head, it looks amazing and super cool. And this is what it is, amazing and super cool. Now, for what regard the measure, it is fundamentally 10 inches tall at the head. However, depends how you measure, because if you pick up also the cannon and the wings, easily 12 inches, and the weight is a couple of pounds, a tiny bit shy of it actually. So, well, 25 centimeters at the head, or 820 grams, something like that. Depends if you measure also the sword or not. And this is as much as my memory can help. I don't think that we are buying something by the kilogram. However, it is good to know that it has a nice heft to it. It's not super heavy, so I'm not afraid that the joints are not gonna keep the weight. However, it gives a nice feeling of solidity in the hand. Like, loved it. Once it's combined, it looks a bit lighter, separated, together is amazing. Now, let's start to look at colors. And there is color for every kind you want. There are different shades of reds, there are different shades of yellow, different shades of gold, different shades of silver, different shade of bronze. And now if you see the joints, they're not metallic, or at least some part of the joints are not metallic, and they don't even look painted. However, they are painted. How do I know? I scraped one of them just out of curiosity internally where you cannot see, but there is that color that is kind of yellowish. Inside is not anymore yellowish. It is black, so yeah. So, and the amazing thing about the fact that this robot gives is done by the fact that some of the color are glossy, and some are semi-gloss. And this is able to create a kind of deepness to the robot that normally is only done by means of weathering or shading, pre-shading, post-shading. So this is completely avoided. This looks bigger than actually it is. And this is done by gloss and semi-gloss effect. As far as I know, Flame Toys is the only company that has been able to do it, and not even in every robot, but fundamentally only in Star Saber. And I do collect pretty much every high-end diecast figure that there is on the market. So amazing. The color is just incredible. 100 out of 100 for me. Completely loved it. Now, articulation, so is a companion robot. So as with all kind of transformer, when they combine, you have to be a tiny bit like more forgiving because, well, it combines. It's a bit harder. However, heads goes up and down. This is the most important part, guys. In order to raise the arm over shoulder level, you need to raise the shoulder pads, the shoulder pauldron. Otherwise, it's gonna lock it in position. You're gonna break apart to move it back. It is really important, and it's not written into distraction. This is kind of unforgettable. As I was saying, unfortunately, the wings are not super locked. Okay, as I was saying, there is a double joint within the arms, and it opens, and I don't understand if I did attach something wrong or not. Because, yeah, I think I just put the biceps at the upside down, let's put it like this. Anyway, there is a bicep swivel. The hands are fully articulated, and there is something also on the forearms to have extract the wrist out of it. So to give that extra arm onto it. Now there is a hardcore ab crunch, and the abs can be also put it up. So yes, obviously there is also butterfly joints, like there is no tomorrow. Amazing. And sorry, my voice is getting away, but hopefully it's gonna stay with us until the end of it. So ratchet joints, which is amazable because this is an heavy figure and I want to keep my position and I want to keep it to a dynamic position. Ratchet are pretty large, but more than enough to make you work with it. Now, technically there is also waist swivel. However, you have to raise a bit the waist and then it can move a bit. I saw it into the picture, so I'm sure it can be done. However, it's so freaking hard that I'm not able to do it. Now let's go the legs, ratchet joint. It cannot do the Van Damme, unfortunately, and yes, it can do the full mount if you remove the front skirt. There is a bit of movement within what is the head of the triceratops, and yes, the ratchets are pretty solid, which is great. I was afraid that Flame Toys would have done a combining figure heavy without ratchet, and that would mean that after 2 minutes that you pose it, the joint will become soft. They use ratchet every single time was human possible, and I love that for it. The ratchet give you more than enough possibility. It's not everything is ratcheted, but this can keep some pretty crazy dynamic pose. The only thing I'm a bit annoyed, you see, I'm trying here to move the waist because I saw it can be misaligned. I will try to force it out. Yeah, I think I was able to get a couple of millimeters in one way. I think I need to read the instruction. However, take it, if you look at the picture, you can see the waist can move a tiny bit. How much? Cannot reply. I mean, I'm not 100% sure over it. However, finish with it and let's start with the comparison out of it. Okay, now we're gonna compare with a few other robots that I have around. Now with a Lego, dude, you can see, it's way bigger. No surprise there. With the old-style Megazord, this is the reprint of a few years ago, the one that I say I repainted out of it. And yes, the idea is the same, but one is for adult, the other one is for kids. Now with the Gurren Lagann Rayobot, great model, and up to now one of my favorite that came out this year. I loved it, it's amazing. But this is a different league altogether. Now we're gonna compare it. Yeah, this is by Korean company Blitzway. Great model, this one, but here still we're playing a different game, both in design and in realization. This is from Bandai Metal Build Dragon Scale the Turbine. Love the paint job. Still way inferior to the Megazord. There is no comparison, and this the best job from Flame Toys that I can think about it. No, actually the Rodimus Prime is a bit better, but the Star Saber is the only other robot that I have in collection that is able to do this gloss no gloss effect. Now, conclusion. Okay guys, first of all, a few things. I'm sorry if I wasn't able to show the transformation of the single Zord, but the shot wasn't great. I will put another video if somebody asks it. Second thing, let's start to look with all the minus out of it, and there are a few, unfortunately. I was expecting like an home run with this one, but not really. So, not enough accessories. Guys, I want at least a display stand. This guy has wings, so flying pose should be possible. And the pterodactyl, guys, you cannot expose it. Like, it will stand on the floor. How do you attach it? Please explain me. Maybe I missed some gimmick out of it. Other minus. So, the instruction manual that is not perfectly clear on a part that is critical that can be break is kind of a deal breaker, guys. I forgive it also only because the figure is incredible, amazing. However, I mean, if I didn't look on the Chinese tube out of it, what were the problem with it, I would have cried, because this is really expensive and I will hate for some part of it broke. But more than expensive, like, I'll be just really, really annoyed and really pissed with the company. So those are the main minus, plus the waste. But I don't know if it's my copy that is just a bit overtied, because I saw the one of the other review can kind of move a bit. Now, for the plus, there are a ton of it. So let's start with the interpretation. This is what represents the idea of Megazord in my hand, a super cool robot, not a blocky robot. I love the blocky robot, but it's super cool in my hand, and this one makes one step closer to be cooler. Second, it is posable. It's actually pretty posable for being a combiner, which is surprising. Paint job is second to no one. This is freaking amazing. Like, there is nothing that gets close to it, if not Flametoys himself. So incredible, like really, really, really incredible. There are a ton of tiny gimmicks within the Megazord as well as another plus that I didn't show everything out of it, but there is quite a few stuff, and I will leave the exploration out of it. And they put a smile over your face. There are quite a few nods to the original toy and to, obviously, to the show. And what can I say? The few accessories that are there, which is the sword, which is not anymore an accessory, it's just a part of pterodactyl, is amazing. The remember, actually, the part where we have the pink ranger is actually pretty great. And what can I say? I was totally and completely impressed with this company. This is Flametoys that did a combining robot, which are not easy at all, and did an amazing job for a first trial. Still not perfect, and most of the paint, forgot to mention this, most of the paint is really resistant. However, in a couple of points, it is a bit more delicate. On the head, I was able to chip a tiny bit of paint over the head. But other than that, it is pretty resistant, and this is done with the utmost cure and precision. So I do recommend this one. So I recommend this one to people that actually love Megazord. The people that are not too cap to the toon accurate or the show accurate representation of Megazord, with people that did grow up, and when they did grow up, their tastes did change a tiny bit, but they still like cool giant robot doing crazy shit. And well, I just think this looks cool in any house of any Ranger fan. Would I recommend it for the price that I got it? I don't think you can get it for less. I think I got one of the best price around. If you get it for less, obviously it is a steal. Take it immediately. If you find it for higher, think about it, because Flametoys normally reprints their work after a few years. They do 2-3 reprints, so don't worry about it. You will find it. And they already announced the Dragonzord that is going to be compatible with the Zord, obviously. So we will have the Megazord Dragonzord version. They didn't show the Titanus. I'm not particular sad about it. I had it. Actually, my brother had it, and I always find it a tiny bit silly. Not bad, just silly. But there are few things that are cool. I collect giant robot nerddom to pretty high level, but this is actually very, very, very cool. It's not too much of a problem to put it inside the room at the entrance, not to be ashamed, because this is a collective past that we share. And we share pretty much everybody from Europe to Asia to North America. And this is a well-beloved robot all around. Obviously, if you are in the right age range. So I highly, highly recommend if you can afford it. Now, if you cannot afford it, Flametoys is releasing a model kit, not of this super cool version of Megazord, but of a cheaper one. But it's still a lighter reinterpretation of the original Megazord, a tiny bit cooler than the Hasbro version. I think the proportion are a tiny bit better. It is a Gunpla, so it is kind of a plastic model, and quite an expensive one. However, I saw a few pictures around and I loved it, so I will buy and I will review it as well. And obviously, if you do like this kind of review, if you're interested into more review in English, please let me know, comment, subscribe, let me know below it. From now on, we're gonna see similar kind of review to similar object in English and in Italian. Please write below. I reply to every single question that I get, if they make sense. If they don't make sense, sorry, I don't. And please subscribe and enjoy the rest of your week. Have a nice day.